Hi, this is Josh Rappaport with Singing Turtle Press, and today we're going to learn how to do what's called a coin problem, an algebraic coin problem. All right, so let me go ahead and read the problem and you'll see what I'm talking about. Kayla has 7 coins, all of which are dimes or nickels. The value of the coins is 45 cents. How many dimes and how many nickels does Kayla have? So you can see from that problem that we have two unknowns here. The number of dimes Kayla has and the number of nickels she has. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is express the unknowns using letters. So what I like to do is use what we call a let expression. That's using the word let. So we say let, and then we use a variable. So we're going to let n equal the number of nickels that Kayla has. And similarly, we're going to let the letter D stand for the number of dimes that Kayla has. Now, to work towards solving this problem, what we need is what I call a master quantity. That's a way of expressing the quantities we care about. And you can see from this problem, the quantity we care the most about is value, the value of coins, because we know the value of the coins is 45 cents. That means we have to find an algebraic way, meaning using numbers and variables, to express the value of coins. All right, let's just think about this for a moment. Suppose you've got 3 nickels. What's the value of the coins? Well, what you do is you take the value per coin, which is 5 cents, times the number of coins you've got, which we said was 3, and you multiply those. 5 times 3 is 15. So the value of 3 nickels is 15 cents. So we use that idea here to develop a master quantity for this problem. So what we do is say the value of any particular type of coin, this is in general now, is equal to the value per coin, the value for each of those coins, times the number of coins that you've got, number of that kind of coin. Okay? Now specifically in this situation, what we really care about is the value of her nickels and the value of the dimes that she has. So we can now get a little more specific. The value of the nickels that Kayla has is going to be equal to the value per nickel, which is 5, times the number of nickels that she has, which we just said was n. And then we can just simplify that by taking out the dot of multiplication and write 5n. Similarly, the value of the dimes that she has is equal to the value per dime, which is 10, times the number of dimes, which we just said was d, and again we simplify that as simply 10d. Okay, next what we do is we develop what I call the master equation. This is the overarching equation that we use to solve the problem. Now in this situation, as we've noted, the value of the coins is 45 cents. So what we're interested in is this. We want to say that the value of the nickels plus the overall value of the dimes equals the value total. Okay? And that's basically it. That's what we're going to use to solve the problem. Okay, now there's one other equation we have to use here in order to solve this problem because as I mentioned we've got two unknowns, the nickels and the dimes, and we need at least two equations. Now the second equation is going to come out of the first phrase here, Kayla has 7 coins. That means that the number of nickels plus the number of dimes she has is 7. So we just say the number of nickels, that's n, plus the number of dimes, that's d, equals 7. And that right there is our value, is our quantity equation. By quantity, I just mean the numbers of coins. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to take this master equation and we're going to kind of work with it a little bit to turn it into the full-fledged value equation that we're going to use to solve the problem. So first I'm just going to rewrite the master equation, value of nickels plus value of dimes equals the value total. And now for each of these quantities, we can just substitute from our master quantities. Okay, so for example, right here, the value of the nickels we said was 5n. And the value of the dimes we expressed as 10d. And now here's another place we can plug something in new. The value of the coins, the total value is 45 cents, so we just write equals 45. All right, so at this point, notice we have a quantity equation, we have a value equation. They use two variables, and we have two equations. But we need to get this down to one equation with just one unknown in order to solve it. And this is where the fun part is. What we do is we take this simple quantity equation and we solve it either for n or for d. I'm going to solve it for n by subtracting d from both sides. Notice I put my minus d on the right, a little away from the 7, just to remind me that variables and numbers do not combine, neither in addition nor subtraction. The d's cancel, and then we get n equals 7 minus d. I'm going to put that in parentheses. The reason I do that is that we're going to be substituting this quantity 7 minus d in for n over here. Okay, so what we do is we take this value equation we've got here, 5n plus 10d equals 45, and we rewrite it, but instead of n, we're going to write 7 minus d because this here gives us permission to write 7 minus d in place of n, since 7 minus d is equal to n. So now what we get is 5 times the quantity, 7 minus d, plus 10d, equals 45. Now at this point, the rest of the problem is basically simple algebra. We just use the distributive property here, 35 minus 5d plus 10d equals 45. We combine our two variable terms here, the negative 5d and the positive 10d, so we get 35, and that's a positive 5d equals 45. I'm going to scoot this little thing out of the way so we have a little more room. Now we're just going to subtract 35 from both sides because we want to get d by itself. That's our goal here. Subtracting 35 from both sides, the 35's cancel. So now we're down to 5d equals 10. Okay, simple division. Divide both sides by 5, and we're almost there. D equals 10 divided by 5, which is simply 2. All right, now that is basically half the answer. That means that the number of dimes is 2. Now we can take that quantity, that information, and we can use it right over here. If the number of dimes is 2, we can substitute that 2 into the quantity equation, and we get n, number of nickels, equals 7 minus 2, since d is 2. That means that n would be 7 minus 2, which is 5. All right, so we have the answer now. We found out that the number of nickels is 5 and the number of dimes is 2. We're almost there, and the reason I say almost is there's one last step. You always want to check your answer. Now, where do you check it? What do you plug it into? Basically, you plug it into this fleshed out version of the value equation. So we're going to rewrite that here, 5n plus 10d equals 45. And we're going to substitute in 5 for n and 2 for d. So we get 5 times 5 plus 10 times 2 equals 45. One thing I like to do when I check the answer is put a little question mark over the equal sign, saying we're not quite sure it's true yet. Okay, and then we've got 25 plus 20 equals 45. The suspense is just killing us, right? Is it true? Well, of course. 25 plus 20 is just 45. 45 equals 45, and at this point, what I love to do is put a little check mark on the equal sign saying, yes, it's true. So that's basically it. That's how you solve a traditional algebraic coin problem. 2 equations, 2 unknowns. You boil it down to one equation with just one unknown right here at this step. That's kind of an ugly star, but I'll just turn it into a big old dot there to say this is the key spot where you've boiled it down to one equation with one unknown, and at that point, just simple algebra. Solve it, check your answer, and you're all done. We'll do more problems like this soon, and we'll also do some problems that are a little bit trickier so you can get additional practice perfecting your skill doing algebraic coin problems. In fact, here's a chance to try some additional problems right now. On this screen, you can see 3 additional problems, just like the one we worked out together. I'll leave this up for a few moments, but feel free to just pause the screen so you can look at it for as long as you'd like. When you've done the problems, you can check the answers which are on the next page, and I will show that page in just a few moments.
Here are the answers.